Hey there, welcome to Taubyte. Today's project is a pretty fun one. We're going to be vibe coding a pixel collaboration game where players can share a canvas in real time and create collaborative pictures that they can export while chatting around in the chat room. Now it looks like a simple project, but it is using WebSockets, serverless and PubSub functions, databases and more under the hood, plus hosting the front-end website. And those are a hassle to deal with. That's why we're using Taubyte's cloud to do all the heavy lifting while we focus on the actual game. In addition, we're going to be utilizing Taubyte's Dream, the tool that lets us simulate a full cloud on our computers. There's going to be a lot of trial and error with AI, but we're going to go through this together. So buckle up. Create a new local cloud using the Dream command. Visit console.taubyte.com, use your email and choose Black Hole for the local Dream cloud and log in with your GitHub. This page will allow us to create our project. I'm going to name it PixAm. You can add a description or make it private, but that's optional. I'm just going to go with a name. Start by adding two apps, one for the front end and one for the back end. To make sure that both the apps are at the same origin, I'm going to create a global domain. I'm going to name it global domain, generate one, and validate. Libraries in Taubyte allows you to group all your code and have a repo that facilitates the development process. I'm going to create one, name it PixAm backend, and choose an empty Golang repo. Do the same for the website. So go to the front end website, create a new one. I'll name it PixAm frontend and choose the global domain. Slash is where our website is at. Choose the empty repo and generate. Click the open button to visit the GitHub repo for the website. Let's clone both the front end and the back end repos onto our system in one folder to facilitate the development process, and add the front end one. So git clone and the front end GitHub repo. Remember, our front end is empty, so we actually need to create a project. Let's use npm create vite at latest to create a project. I'll just use the same folder, React, TypeScript, and install the dependencies. Let's use the provided link to view our website, and it's working perfectly. Now, let's npm install Tailwind CSS and configure it with our Vite setup. Then lose all the boilerplate, CSS, and HTML, and rerun it again to see the result. And it's working perfectly. Now our start point is ready. Let's go back to the console. The website and library changes save to their respective GitHub repos, but our dashboard, domain, and applications need to be saved to our project's config repo. So we're going to be pushing and committing the changes through the console. Since GitHub can't reach our nodes locally, we need to Dream push all to start or to trigger builds that we can see in the builds tab. We created our library and website, but we haven't triggered their builds yet. So let's go to the library, copy the repo ID, and Dream inject push specific with a flag of RID for repository ID. RID, paste the repository ID and the FN for the full repo name. Let's copy it from the YAML of the library, paste it in our terminal, and this triggers the build for the library. Do the same for the website to trigger its build. Copy the RID and use Dream inject push specific RID, then the full name of the website repo, and enter. Let's go to the Builds tab and check our builds. The library already finished, but the website is still open. To vibe code a Taubyte project, we have a Taubyte guide for all the AI assistant to minimize errors and maximize productivity. You just need to paste it in your project. I'll have the link in the description. It's a bunch of .md files that explain how Taubyte Cloud works and that aid the AI in the process of making things. Let's ask Cursor to add a .taubyte folder to the front end, or not maybe add, it's more like a revised version because it already exists. But remember that when we created this project, the .taubyte folder came with the empty project. Now we have a Vite React project. We need to update our build.sh and our config.yaml to suit the new React project and to build correctly. The .taubyte folder is used by the Taubyte Cloud to build resources, whether it's a website or a library or any other resource. Awesome, we have all the resources we need. Let's go to the dashboard and check how our website is looking. Go to backend, website, frontend, website, and click the lightning button to open to a new tab. We have an error reading directory. This is because we created our GitHub repo for the website and it's still empty. We haven't yet pushed our local project to GitHub. Let's use git add, then git commit, our initial commit, and push it to GitHub. And remember, GitHub cannot access our local node, so we'd have to trigger a build for the website just like we did earlier with Dream inject push specific to the website. If we go to the Builds tab, we'll find a new job for our website open. After the job is done, if you refresh your website, our starting point is looking good. Let's ask the AI to add a slate background, a navigation with no links, which will look cool, and a logging functionality using the local storage. Now, we don't need a full logging system, but we just need the username to send to the backend. The AI will do its thing. It's creating an index.css, a navbar.tsx for our navbar, and a login form. We can always use npm run dev to check the current state of our website locally. It hasn't finished yet. Oh, it's now. It created a bunch of files, and here it is, a login form with username and password, but we don't really need the password, so let's try and lose that. Let's add a logo also, and waiting for AI to do its magic. It altered the login from.tsx, removing the password, and it's trying to add a logo right now and putting it inside the navbar.tsx. It has finished. If we check our website, we have a username. It added a logo, and we can log out. Great. Let's ask it now to add a canvas for our game that users can draw pixels in to make a full image. Add a toolbar on top of the canvas that provides some colors to use, and export PNG to export the canvas as a PNG image. Add a chat to the right side and make the length the same length as the toolbar plus the canvas combined. The AI does take a long here to create some of the resources, but again, it's creating a resources from scratch. We can see it's creating a canvas toolbar, a pixel canvas, and all of the things. Now, if you refresh, it's not working. If we check our console or click F12, we will find an error in the console. Just copy that message and feed it to the AI itself, and it will figure out where the problem is and fix it on its own. You can see that it's building and trying multiple things. It found the error and changed the import. Great, the website is working. Let's enter username more than 3 characters. And the canvas is working. Yes, we can draw pixels on it, but there seems to be a problem with the toolbar that we need to fix. It's under the navbar, so it's a CSS problem. The chat sends chat messages, which is nice. The send button is overflowing, which we need to fix. There is no responsiveness in the website, which is another thing that we need to fix too. But overall is a good result for a first attempt. Let's ask the AI to make this responsive. The chat should be a bubble for smaller screens and a full panel on desktop, and the toolbar has a CSS issue. It shows under the navigation, which needs to be fixed. It's doing its thing now, altering the pixel art studio, the chat bubble, files, and the canvas toolbar. Let's see the result. And a couple errors in the console. It's okay. If we refresh, it didn't really fix the toolbar CSS issue, but it definitely fixed the chat. Now the chat is a chat bubble on small screen and a full panel on desktop. Let's prompt the AI to make the toolbar or the navbar not absolute, so things can't render under it. Hence the toolbar and the canvas rendering after it in the DOM. It's doing its thing right now, altering the navbar, canvas toolbar TSX, the chat sidebar TSX. npm run dev is still running, so it updates the website as we code, and the toolbar is appearing correctly right now with the export PNG functionality. Now let's push these changes to GitHub and trigger a build with the terminal. So let's stream inject push specific for the front end. The job is open now. Wait for it to succeed. Now the job has succeeded. Let's go to the website, refresh. We have an unexpected error. We need to check the logs for this build. Click the eye icon to look at the logs, and if we scroll down, we'll find that React is declared, but its value is never read. This is the error that is not letting Taubyte build this project, and that we need to fix. Let's go back to the editor and let's ask it to build the front end itself and fix the errors. It is running npm run build to build the project, changing a couple files with errors, rebuilding, and it has finished. Before we push, let's check the changes locally with npm run dev. Yeah, it looks like the errors are gone. Let's go back and push the changes to GitHub. And of course, every time we push changes to GitHub, we need to trigger a build for the website. So go to your terminal and dream inject push specific. By the way, you don't need to do this if you're on production. It will pick up the nodes automatically and it will start building once you push to GitHub. But since we are using local Dream setup, GitHub can reach our node and hence we need to do it manually. Now, after it succeeded, if we refresh, the errors are gone. Let's enter a username and it appears that we have no errors. Drawing on the canvas with different colors seems to be normal. Sending a chat message is acting normal. The console doesn't have any errors and the logout functionality works. Done with the front end, let's go back to our backend. First of all, I'm going to rename this empty.go file to backend.go to represent the backend code. And I'm going to ask the AI to, in the same folder that has the backend.go, to create a new project, or not a new project, to add the HTTP endpoints, or maybe the logic for the HTTP endpoints. Get canvas at API/canvas. You don't need to give the endpoints to the backend, but I'm just training the AI for later when we're creating or when we're linking the front end and the back end to know which endpoints lead to what functions. So to use get canvas at API/canvas to get saved pixels from the /canvas database as JSON, and add a pub/sub function that will be named onPixelUpdate that listens to the WebSocket events and registers the JSON coming from the front end to the database. Let's add a get channel URL at API/get channel URL with a parameter of channel that specifies which channel to get the URL for. And give back the WebSocket URL for that channel. Okay, let's give the AI some time to apply these changes. It made a to-do list, so create a get canvas, a get channel URL, an onPixelUpdate, and it will update the go.mod. You can see that it's reading through the Taubyte guide files to know what to actually precisely do. It changes the go.mod and the backend.go. There are some dependency problems, so I'm gonna run go mod tidy to fix them, and it seems that all the errors are gone. See, we have a get canvas function exported and a get channel URL exported with the query parameter, and we have a pub/sub export of an onPixelUpdate function. Let's ask it to do the same for chat with the /chat database and the chat channel. It is updating the backend.go with the necessary changes. So we have an exported get chat and exported on chat update and on chat messages. Now let's separate the backend into multiple files, since keeping all the logic in one file is not a good practice. Now it exported a types.go, a utils.go, and a canvas.go, splitting all the logic from the backend.go. We can see that it removed all the logic from the backend.go file, so we can actually delete it. We don't need it anymore. Now the AI needs some guidance. It created a get chat channel URL, which is not needed. It needs to use the get channel URL global function to get both the canvas and the chat channels URLs. Yeah, it's all good. It did it right. Let's build the backend with a Taubyte's Docker environment. Again, the Taubyte's Docker environment is listed in the Taubyte guides folder. Once it finishes, let's ask it for the backend functionalities that it implemented. It will read through the files, and if we read through this, we have HTTP endpoints, so get canvas that returns current canvas pixel data, get channel URL that gets the WebSocket URL for real-time channels, we have two, and the get chat endpoint that returns chat history, and the PubSub functions, the onPixel updates and the onChat messages that listen for events in the WebSockets and save to the database. Now let's create our databases. The first one is Canvas. Let's give it 100 megabyte size. We need to remove the slash. Create the other one for chat and slash chat for the matcher, and another 100 megabytes for the chat database. We also need channels, so let's create a pixels channel, a WebSocket one, and a chat with a matcher of chat, and enable the WebSocket. Now let's create our serverless functions that use the logic from the library. We have get canvas first. The entry point is the channel name in the code, and the source is the PexAm backend library that we created. Method is get, and the domain will use our global one, and for the path that the frontend uses, we'll use an API/canvas. Let's do this for all the functions that the backend created. We have the get channel URL, and next we have the get chat. Those are all get methods, and the URL changes. Now with the PubSub function on pixel update, let's choose a timeout and memory and entry point of on pixel update. Now it's important to choose the channel here. The channel is pixels, and for the chat, the channel is chat. Okay, we're done now. We need to push our changes to the config repo to save our functions and our channels and databases. Next, and let's commit, add a commit message. So added databases, channels, and functions, or serverless functions. Finish. Now we need to trigger a build with Dream inject push all, not push specific, to trigger a build for the config and code repos. If we go to the backend after the build is done and use one of the endpoints like get canvas, we will actually get JSON data back. Get chat will also give us an empty array of messages, but the get channel URL won't work directly. It needs a parameter of channel name, Let's add a parameter of channel equals canvas. And pixels, so yeah, our channels, we have 2 pixels and chat. Let's use pixels, and here's the JSON response with the URL for that channel, WebSocket channel. Now all that is left is to connect the front end to the back end. Let's ask the AI, and I will ask him to make sure that the front-end clients connect directly through WebSocket and don't go through the backend, because that would cost processing power and would make things not so fast. Let's make sure that the backend does not interfere with the client's connections, and make sure to use JSON between clients through the WebSocket, and make sure the backend saves JSON to the database. So JSON everywhere. The clients will connect through the WebSocket to get real-time data from each other's, and the pub/sub functions of the backend will listen to the WebSocket and save data from the WebSocket to the database as JSON. Looking at this code, we actually need to add the WebSocket non-secured protocol so that it works in the local environment that we set up. So add WS, which is WebSocket, and WSS, which is WebSocket secured, and make sure to add a slash between the window location host and data WebSocket, since it's an error if not. Let the AI do its thing, and it's done. Now let's ask the backend to test the functionalities for us. Let's give it the base URL and the endpoints for the different functionalities. API canvas to get the canvas data, API chat to get the chat, and get the channel URL to get URLs for both our pixels and chat channels. You can see it's curling those endpoints and backend status working. The front end is giving me these errors. I'm going to give them to the AI and have it fix them for me. So the front end console is giving me these errors. I'm going to paste the errors directly and let the AI handle it. It's making changes, and the problem was with the endpoint naming. Let's git add commit and push these changes and trigger a build from our terminal for the front end. Now for the ultimate test, we will have 2 windows besides each other's using the new build and see if everything is working. Okay, we have the pixel canvas working in real time, as you can see, and the chat. Let's send one chat to another. The chat is working perfectly. I'm using the private browsing window to act as another online user, and all the functionalities are working. We did it. We vibe coded a full project with WebSockets, serverless functions, only using AI and not even interfering that much at all. Now, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I urge you to do it yourself. I will have the Taubyte guide folder link in the description so that you can use it in creating Taubyte based projects using the AI tools of your choice. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.